interview this evening is the man behind one of the biggest Muslim charities and humanitarian NGOs on the planet, pretty much. Born in Egypt and educated both in his homeland and here in the UK, Dr. Hani Al-Banna is the founder of Islamic Relief, an organisation currently marking its 40th anniversary. After seeing the famine in Sudan, Dr. Al-Banna founded the charity in 1984 while still a medical student. Today, Islamic Relief Worldwide is one of the world's largest relief and development charities, operating in more than 40 countries. In 2022 alone, Islamic Relief plowed over £193 million into emergency aid, long-term development, and campaigning for change that directly helped over 17.3 million people. Dr. Al-Banna is also founder and chairman of various other charitable organizations, including the World Humanitarian Action Forum, the Muslim Charities Forum, and Zakat House. And I'm very pleased to say that he joins us in the studio now. Assalamu alaikum, welcome to the program.
Alaikum assalam. Thank you.
I'm very,
Happy Ramadan.
Oh, happy Ramadan to you too. How's the month treating you?
It's gone.
It's gone almost. I mean, literally like what, a week left nearly. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for coming this far because I know you're not local. So it's very much appreciated that you come speak to us this evening. I guess, first of all, did you always know that you wanted to be in this area, in the humanitarian kind of area, or is it something that just happened?
It's just something that happened. I have no clue what we were going to do at that time. We just felt that at the time of the famine in East Africa and Eritrea, which was part of Ethiopia at the time, that we as Muslims are responsible to respond to the famine in this area because it claimed a lot of lives. And we found that all the non-Muslim charities are aggressively raising funds and we are doing nothing. So when I came back from Sudan, we developed the idea. Me and a colleague of mine, I was doing my Doctor of Medicine in medical school, Birmingham University, and he was doing his Doctor of Philosophy in chemistry. We sat down and said, let us do something. No office, no resources, no fund, no personality, and this is my message to the young people.
No personality.
Yeah, and this, no knowledge, no experience, and this is a message for young people. Don't wait to get the resources. You can make the resources.
Indeed.
The first donation came to us was the donation for my ticket, which I went to the Islamic Culture Center in London because I didn't have money to travel to attend this medical meeting in Khartoum. And the sheikh opened the drawer and gave me £300. You know what? Nobody knows who was the donor. Was he a man or a woman? Black, white, short, African, Asian, European? Nobody knows. And this is the first ever donation to take me to this area.
Well, I heard that your first donation was 20 pence.
That's the second one.
Bassett.
That's the second one.
Tell me about that.
The second one was actually when I took a transit in Cairo to go to see my family with some photographs I took from Sudan. Basim was one of my nephews, and he told me, Uncle, 20 pence for you. This is chocolate money for myself. He was at the age of 9 at that time. Now he's a professor in the university. So these are the first two donations. One of them was not a donation, it was not to the mosque, but it took me from London to Khartoum to discover that we need to be responsible and responsive. The second was from my nephew, who gave me the 20 pence. Then when I came to Birmingham with Dr. Hassan, said, Hassan, let us do something. What? We did not know what to do, where to go, how to do it. And we're going all the time, door to door. Listen to this. Medical doctor, because I was working at that time at 84, I was in Queen Elizabeth Medical Center. Door to door, house to house, shop to shop, street to street, to distribute leaflets. We did not have any office, any telephone. And even the address was the address of another organization. no desk. And this is the message for the young people. Do not wait for somebody to give you the money to start. You are very resourceful inside yourself. When you discover yourself, when you discover your sources, you'll be able to make that change and to create the resources for others.
You started off, obviously, the kind of trigger for this whole thing was the famine
That's right.
in East Africa. From there, the projects started to spread
Yeah.
around the world. Did you ever, in your mind, when you first with your colleagues set up Islamic Relief, did you have any idea of we're only going to help Muslim countries?
Never.
Or tell me about the kind of mission statement, I guess.
During the 80s, our main focus was help, 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 help. The community in Eritrea was mixed,
Mm.
Muslims and non-Muslims. We never thought about it. We never thought at all about actually to there are Muslims and Muslim. We found that it's a responsibility of us as individual human being to make something, to do something, to respond and to change the life of the people. In spite of the fact that we had no resources, but a pound would be counted, a penny would be counted, anything would be counted. That's why. And in spite of the fact our name is called the Islamic Relief, and we have been called this name because it's a name given to us by Cat Stephen. You know Cat Stephen?
Oh, of course,
He
yes.
came to visit in 85 and he said, take this name as Islamic Relief. So God bless him.
Mm.
And so we never make a distinction between a Muslim and a non-Muslim, because even in zakat distribution, one category is for the non-Muslim. A second category is also can be shared for the non-Muslim. So you have got at least one or two categories in 8 categories to give money, to allow you to give money, spend the money of zakat on the non-Muslims. So from the very beginning, when you were to go, especially in the helping and how to do it. So we never make a distinction or the differences between Muslims and non-Muslims.
In the early days, in the earliest days, I guess, um, what was the hardest thing?
The hardest thing is to find somebody like me because I'm not Asian. I'm from Egypt. I look like Asian.
I
I'm
was gonna
very
say, if you
very
didn't,
very, very proud to
if
look
you
like
didn't
you.
know, if you didn't open your mouth, you wouldn't know.
Yeah, but actually at that time the Asian community was leading the congregation of mosques and shops and everything, and to accept somebody like me who is young, nobody know him, and Arab origin, it is a big challenge. But you know what make it happen? Because I carry the title DR, and the Asian, because they're mostly working class, I respect them. They respect the doctors.
Yeah,
So he's a doctor. Okay, fine. Queen Elizabeth. Oh, fine. Trust him. This is the click
yeah.
at the very beginning, actually. Plus, second thing, we were exposing ourselves to the community. How? During Ramadan, we never had any iftari with our family. All the time, the 30 days from day one to the day of Eid, were all outside, raising funds from the mosques, staying in the mosque, sleeping in the mosque, eating in the mosque, and being with the people there. So our children and our wives never had any iftari or sahri with us for at least 30 days. Here, your exposure to the community at this very critical social time of the family give them the message that actually it was not only myself, it was in UK, it was in Germany, it was in France, it was in Belgium, it was in Holland, and everywhere. We were out for at least 30 days, and our family never saw us till the day of Eid. And sometimes, when if we are on an international journey after Eid.
Did you ever think in those early days that Islamic Relief would become what it has become? Was there any inkling in your mind at all that it would be this?
I never thought about it because we shouldn't, as a young man like you and like our sister here, shouldn't think how big you want to be. Think about how good you want to be when you deliver your message, when you accomplish your mission, when you approach the people will make you big, the people will make you grow, the people will support you and raise you to the standard that you never believe that you will reach. But after registration of Islamic Relief in 1993, we had an idea to put Islamic Relief in the main kitchen of decision making of humanitarian work globally, which is United Nations. 93, I had an interview, and actually in New York, which was my first visit there. And I was roasted by many ambassadors. Question, Islamic Relief. My beard was very long, but not as long as your beard, and all this sort of thing. He's a saint, huh?
No. This is fashion.
Okay, whatever you call it, inshallah. And I approached all the ambassadors. Some of them were Arabs. They turned their back on me. That's what started from Friday and the end of March, like last month, 1 years ago. On Friday, what did you know what they told me? We'll give you a roster status. I don't know. I told them, what do you mean by roster status? Come after 2 years. As disrespecting me, I became very angry. You know what happened? I went straight to the stage, took the microphone, told them, I'm here for the last week, give you everything you want. I want the decision. Why you delay it? The room was very actually, oh my God, what's happening? The chair lady, doctor, please come down. I said, I'm not going to come down. Give you everything you want. Reports, finance, accountability, and everything that you want. You know who saved me on that day? A non-Muslim European ambassador was the Irish ambassador. He said, we listened to the representative of Islamic Relief for the last week, and I endorsed their application to become a member of the economic and social status of non-government organization of United Nations. We gave them that chance to my colleague, because one of his colleagues was blocking us to come back next week. Now I've been endorsed by a European country. On Monday, the following Monday, I came back, and the Sudanese ambassador did the same to us, and we got the registration. Here, we were planning to be a part of the kitchen, and we were. That's why when September 11 came, 8 years later on, we were saved. Why? Because everybody knew us from inside the main decision-maker kitchen. And this is my message to people, young people. Go to see where the decision is made to become a part of it.
We will continue talking. We're going to go to your first song selection. We always have our guests choose their playlist. And this evening, the first track that you have picked is the sound of Abdul Halim Hafez. It is Ahwak, or I Adore You. Tell me why you picked this track.
Because it reminds me of my young age, in the mid 20s, when I was in the medical school. It's very sentimental. Made in the movie was made in or created in the 50s, and Abdul Halim was the top singer in the whole Arab world, and it touches your heart. His voice, the music, the wording, it's incredible. See the music?
You know, it reminded me of when I heard it the first time. It reminded me of La Vie en Rose. It has the same kind of tune.
Yes, it does. Yeah, beautiful choice.
واتمنى لو انساك وانسى روحي وياك كن ضاعت تبقى فداك لو تنساني وانساك وتريني بنسى.
As an Egyptian, do you see yourself as Arab, or do you see yourself as African, East African?
I'm Arab, African, Egyptian. 3 in 1, 4 in 1, 5 in 1. Sometimes I'm Bangladeshi. Sometimes
exactly. Whatever gets the donations is fine. Call me whatever you want.
That's it.
واتمنى لو انساك وانسى روحي وياك وان ضاعت تبقى فداك لو تنساك.
What will you be doing for Eid?
waiting for you to visit us.
That would be really nice.
What would you say was the kind of the biggest achievement for Islamic Relief?
Three different ones.
The biggest achievement is to carry on lasting for 40 years and more, passing through September 11th, and will pass as well through October 7th. And the best achievement is to have the sixth CEO of Islamic Relief from the 84 till 2024 sitting together and happy to come back to meet in Islamic Relief
Yeah,
as a mother, as a family,
yeah.
as a bonding machine to all of them. This was happening this year, myself and others as well.
What's your current role with Islamic Relief? Do you have any role with it other than the founder?
I gave it up in 2008 because to give a space to the younger generation like you and like sister as well. That's why after me, actually 4 people came
Yeah.
from different nationalities. The current one is Asian from Pakistan. The one before was Eritrean from Africa. The one before him was Egyptian. The one before him was Yemeni. The one before him was half Egyptian, half Irish. And the first one was myself.
Mashallah.
This kind of multiplicity and diversity of the leadership was there from 1984.
And you can see that in the work that you've done.
Because if you claim to serve the people, you have to bring the people that you serve to be with you in the decision-making process.
Of course. I mean, if you look at some charities, they focus specifically on certain areas of the world. And I think one thing you can say without a doubt about Islamic Relief is that it hasn't done that at all. It's covered, I mean, I'm looking at the stats in front of me and some of the, amazing.
Are you happy with the pictures? Are they good ones?
All the Arab listeners will be very happy with you.
Exactly. See, there you go. I would have played Kulthum, but you didn't pick any.
Yeah. This is for the young people.
Yeah.
Sleep down.
Huh?
It is the beautiful sound of Abdul Halim Hafiz, and that one is Ahwak, or I Adore You. It's the first track this evening chosen by our guest on the big interview, the absolutely inimitable, the one and only Dr. Hani Albana, who joins us in the studio. He is the founder of Islamic Relief. He's also I should mention, founder and chairman of various other organizations, which we will also discuss, including the World Humanitarian Action Forum, the Muslim Charities Forum, and Zakat House. Islamic Relief, however, is marking 40 years in operation, 40 years of changing people's lives, I guess. How was that listening to that track?
For the song?
Yeah.
Oh my God. It took me
Take you
50
back.
years back before I came here.
Let's talk about let's get back onto Islamic Relief. We were talking off air while that song was playing, and I asked you what you think was the biggest achievement for Islamic Relief within the 40 years. Just tell the people what you said.
To keep staying tuned, responding to different calamities after 40 years, passing through September 11th, and we'll be passing through also October 7th, and we'll be passing always through other global challenges. Because, as I mentioned earlier on, we decided to become a part of the kitchen, the global kitchen of humanitarian work, 1993. And we believed and we're still believing in diversity of the leadership. Actually, diversity of the response and the diversity of partnership as well. That's why another big achievement is when we collected the 6 CEO who run the leaders, who are actually the leaders of Islamic Relief from 84 to 2024. And the 6 people came to their mother's home or their mother's house, came to the love of the organization from 84, which was myself, to 2024, which is Wasim Ahmad, who is running it now. Different background, different culture, different original nationality, Egyptian, Yemeni, Eritrean, African, and Asian, Pakistani. This is an achievement. They come back to you because there is no this kind of hatred in their hearts. They are being treated as the leader at the very early age. And let me add to it another biggest achievement. The real heroes of the 80s were the young volunteers in the secondary school and university from Small Heath, Spark Hill, and Spark Brook, which were actually from a background of their parents were actually maybe not educated, labor forces, and all, but they came to a new initiative and they found themselves there. And when I heard some of the current leaders of Islamic Relief nowadays said, Doc, you know what? We never knew anything about volunteerism. What's volunteerism? We just came and we found that we are doing something good and we wanted to be a part of doing something good. Those 5 or 6 or 7, 20 people in the mid 80s till the late 80s, 40% were young women, came to make the change. And most of them were volunteers. The second big wave of getting Islamic Relief to the top is from the mid 90s, which have been led also by young officers. I mentioned the names Fadi from London, Nasruddin Haq Hamid, Harun Atallah, I can't remember the other, Harun Atallah and Khalid Roy and others. Those people were the late 80s, Mustafa Osman. Those people took Islamic Relief from 94 or 93 to boom to the highest level. And at that time, to be honest, the young people who came to join Islamic Relief made Islamic Relief global. So here is the message. Never ever undermine or underestimate the power of the young people. You have to empower them. Never ever actually sideline the role of woman because she thinks differently. Her feeling is different to your feeling. She is approaching this same problem with love, more love and care and emotion. While we could be very heavy on our emotion, I have to have somebody like you. I have to have somebody like Fadi and Harun and Affan and others, and we have to have somebody senior as well. To the 3 in 1 and the 1 in 3.
Amazing. I always, when I look back, think of in 2005 when Islamic Relief became part of the DEC, and I always kind of look at that and think of that as quite a big turning point, quite a big change for our Islamic Muslim faith-based charities. Tell me about when that happened. Did it feel like a big deal at the time?
You want to say the truth?
Mm.
I was in my office when somebody told me that DEC would like to come and visit you. I said, what is DEC? Because I was ignorant. I was very focused on the grassroots community. When they came to us, I think in 2004, before we joined in 2005, they asked for us to join. I consulted my brother, said, yes, well, let's go. We never applied for it.
Right.
To be very, we never applied for it. But they saw our transparency during September the 11th, before September the 11th, and after September the 11th. They saw our approach to the community and our relationship with the British government and our global relationship and our membership in the United Nations without their help. And the way that we'll be able to raise the millions actually, independently. That's why actually I give you a story. When my second visit or third visit or fourth visit to Russia, the second war in Chechnya in 1999, the British government, we sent them an email telling them I would like to go to there. They didn't respond to us. By Friday or Saturday, I was in Moscow because I have the fund. Give me the independence and make the decision. And they rang Monday to the CEO of Islamic Relief. Said, "Where is Dr. Banna?" Said, he's traveled. Where? In Chechnya. Said, "You shouldn't go to Moscow because it's very serious." Khalas, it's gone. You did not respond to us when we sent at the time it was not an email, maybe a message or something like this. And I was there. This kind of independence, taking the high risk for Chechnya, our allowance for any emergency is to spend up to $10,000 without going back to the executive. When I went there, I asked after a week or less than a week, my colleague, which is the CEO, Harun, can we put another zero to the 10,000? The accountants. Okay, fine. He decided. After my visit to Grozny and coming out, saw the destruction, which is incredible destruction. I couldn't be able to believe it. I said, Harun. He said, what? I said, can we put another zero? I said, oh, doc, enough is enough. 1 0 is enough. You know how much you spend by February, March, April 2000? $3 million. Not raised. Because what, Raz? Because we took the risk our life, our organization to be there. When people found you that you are the only one there before anybody else. Yeah. I don't want to be the best or the first, but this was the time that people saw our photographs, our videos, and our messages from Grozny.
How important is it in any disaster situation or humanitarian situation? How important is it for you to have people there on the ground?
Whether you have your own people or you have the local responder from the local community. It's either or. If you have a local communication with local organization, you can trust them because they are the first responder. Yeah. So when any organization come and tell you that you are the first, tell them no. The first responder is the next door neighbor. Yeah. It's the church there. It's the mosque there. The synagogue there. The temple there. Not you. Even if the local government does not respond before the next door neighbor. So when you go there and you don't have an office, you have to partner with local community organization. It's very important to know where to go and how to go and what the people want from you. It's not just to jump on a plane, said, hi guys, I'm chartering a plane. What? That's what you see nowadays in Gaza. Yeah. You know, one of the jokes, we found some people putting on their Facebook, our plane landed in Gaza. What? I'm from Egypt. I've been to Gaza many times. What plane? The one who went to talk to their bosses said, sorry, it was a young officer was excited, very emotional. But you cannot say this publicly. It's not that I'm the first, I have a plane. I have many planes.
Yeah. Let's go to some more music. We'll come back and we'll continue talking. The next track that you've chosen is the sound of Sheikh Sayyid al-Naqshbandi. It is Ya Mawlai, or My Lord, I'm at Your Door. Tell me why you picked this beautiful track.
This is the voice of the man is incredible, voice from heaven. The wording is something which you cannot imagine that somebody like that will have this actually wording. The thirdly, it was a challenge between the musician and the man himself who was reciting this. And the musician was a young man, very short like this. And they told Sheikh Said, I will write, I would like to write some music for you. You write something for me? Actually, who are you? He told him, I will write you a song, piece of music which will let people to listen to it for more than 100 years. This was the challenge. And this was in the mid-60s or late 60s. And now it is happening, one of the epics of this kind of recitation or ibtihalat in the Middle East.
Wow.
Beautiful. Oh, need
what's
to
the
run
link?
out of time.
What's the link for the radio? You know, afterwards, can we share it on the Facebook?
Yeah,
After we talk.
yeah.
Once
So
it's done.
Rose will just clip the interview as well.
And then you can share it on the.
I send a clip out to our other teams, and then next week they may play the clip of the interview as well. Because we have an Asian program in all the different regions.
Yeah.
So I have one in London and one in
That's
Leeds
right.
and one in Yorkshire, blah, 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 blah. So I send like a 10-minute clip out.
Mm-hmm.
They then play that. We also have the whole thing that will be on BBC Sound. Sorry, I didn't catch your name, bro.
It's Arafat.
Arafat,
Yes.
okay. So I'll send, if maybe I get your number before you leave, I'll send you the link once we're off air. And it'll be on BBC Sounds for a month.
Okay.
It stays on there for a month.
Oh.
And
No,
then,
just share it on Facebook.
and then you can you can share the link or whatever. If you want to keep it, then you would need to like maybe screen record it or something like that yourself if you want to do that.
No, we've got
But it would be there for a month.
But if somebody wants to listen to it now, what is it? Is it?
If you want to listen to it now, they can just go to
Manchester.
Yeah, if you just Google BBC Radio Manchester or Lancashire or Merseyside, and it'll just be listened live on the website straight away.
Wow. Beautiful, right?
Got shivers now.
Yeah, literally. Stunning. You can't even speak like during this, can you? So nice.
Oh, exactly. You shouldn't really.
Oh, you shouldn't really, sorry.
Well, technically you shouldn't, but you know.
Sorry.
Sorry, you're forgiven. I'm going to have to interrupt, I'm afraid. Otherwise, we'll run out of time. The sound of Sheikh Sayyid al-Naqshbandi, and that one is Ya Mawlai, or My Lord, I'm at Your Door. It was the second track this evening, chosen by our guest on the big interview, the co-founder of Islamic Relief, the wonderful Dr. Hani Albana, who joins us in the studio this evening. Did you get chills listening to that?
Yes.
One is spiritual, the other one is emotional.
I was going to say one was emotional, one was spiritual. We won't say what the third one is. We'll leave that as a little surprise. I was pleasantly surprised by your song. So we've talked a bit about Islamic Relief, and we will come back to that before we leave this evening. But I just want to touch on your many other projects or affiliations, shall we say. And I want to start with the World Humanitarian Action Forum. Tell me about that, about where the idea for it came from, and tell me about a little bit about the story of that.
When I became president of Islamic Relief in 2003, I had more time to travel, to connect, to communicate, to discover opportunities, and learn a lot from the international field of humanitarian response and humanitarian work. We developed this idea while I was working for Islamic Relief as a president. Between 2003 to 2008, my idea started to change. That's why nowadays I will advise many young CEO and many senior, actually board members, board of trustees, board of directors, to give time to the young leaders to think, not to treat them like firefighters. Unfortunately, most of the CEOs in most of the Muslim churches nowadays and most of the senior the directors are firefighters. They have no time to think. So when I was given the opportunity from Islamic Relief in 2003 to travel and become a president, to have the time to think, I started to develop the idea of having something else, which is called the Humanitarian Forum, which became afterwards World Humanitarian Action Forum, became HIV/AIDS Fund, became a Yemen Relief and Development Forum, and others initiatives, because I have the time to think. Actually, this World Humanitarian Action Forum is bridging the gap between the international humanitarian work done by the Muslim organization, and the others. Talk about capacity building, talk about building the new leadership, talk about new philosophy, talk about all this kind, new culture, new ideas, actually. Talk about empowerment of women, empowerment of actually young people. This is started from about nearly 20 years ago, when I had the time. I'm keeping saying this catchphrase, when I had the time to think. So, alhamdulillah, that Islamic Relief in 2003 gave me the time to think, not to become a firefighter like I was before 2003. And when those young people nowadays, they have the time to think, they'll be able to develop more and to advance more and to rise more and to raise the organization more and more and more. That's why we need to meet the challenge of changing the job description of every individual working in this sector, actually, to enable them, from the cleaner, from the driver, from the guardman to the president and CEO and the other. Let them think and bring their ideas on the table. The idea come from a cleaner could be far more better than the idea come from somebody like me as a CEO or as a president, because he sees what we don't see. And each one of us has different ways of actually looking and different experience. And this started to happen to me in from 2003, 2004. That's why when I found that Islamic Relief has graduated me, I said again, have graduated me, okay? I said, okay, fine, let me go from this stage to another stage. Because humanitarian response is good, but this is the bedrock of other things. And this is the foundation of other things. That's why nowadays, when I talk to you about humanitarian work, I talk about culture, I talk about values, I talk about philosophy, I talk about media, I talk about history, which most of the organizations, particularly Muslim organizations, are not interested in it because it does not bring money, or they do not bring money. My advice now to the boards, the board of directors or boards of actually trustees, is look at what you leave behind. And here's is the challenge. Tell me if any one of the Muslim charities have written their own history while the first generation is still alive or not. I will challenge you if you say yes. And this is a problem. You know why? Because we are not going to leave legacies to our children. We're just going to leave a figure. Oh, he's Raz. Oh, yes, he is. But where's the story? How did you make it? Nobody wrote it because it does not bring money.
Yeah.
Money cannot buy values. Values can be created by people, so the value can make the money for you later on.
Let's talk about the Muslim Charity Forum. It's an umbrella organization for the Muslim charitable sector in the UK. Where did that concept come from?
The same, from the same era, from 2003 to 2008, when I was there, released, or Islamic Relief was graduating me to the other stage. We said, okay, let us have a bridge between Muslim charities, not to let them to compete with one another, to cut the throat of one another, to backstab one another. Instead of doing that, let's sit with one another. It was more difficult. to deal with them than dealing with the non-Muslim. I'm just saying it frankly.
Yeah, yeah.
And took us about 4 or 5 years to let 5 Muslim charities from UK to sit down together and to agree. 5 years to agree to work together. And after 10 years or 15 years, one of them said, "What? Doc," I said, "What?" He said, one of the biggest achievement is that we started to listen to one another. We started to trust one another. We started to need to work with one another. This saves money of the poor. Why should we all go to the same place? Why should we all go and do the same thing? And the process started, it has been registered 2009. And now, alhamdulillah, I was the chairman of the organization till 2 years ago. Now is Muazzam Malik, the new chairman. I'm just a member of the board now, alhamdulillah. And Fadi is CEO, and they're doing very well after 15 years. Nothing will be born mature. Nothing.
Of course.
It has to take time. It has to be trusted by the community, accepted by the community, and this will take time. Whether the community is your own community, or some other community, and this is what happened with Muslim Charities Forum. They have got more than 17 members in UK, but we are begging the Muslim charities to join, to make it stronger, and to raise their voice and the culture of the Muslim humanitarian organization.
I want to talk about Zakat House very quickly as well. I find this really interesting because even though your background is in something as huge as Islamic Relief, I find it really interesting that Zakat House kind of works with and supports small charities around the UK. Tell me about Zakat House.
The Zakat House is like a hub for a startup organization or like a platform for people to use the address. It's in London. Alhamdulillah, we bought it, I can't be 7, 8, 10 years ago, something like this. It has quite a few organizations inside there, hosted actually to grow and business. Quite a few organizations went from there to become independent, to hire their own offices, to have their own places, to have their own budget, and all this sorts of. It was like a hub to nurture and grow the young startup growing organizations. And alhamdulillah, we have one in London, which is the building. Now, what we are trying to appeal for the community is to buy more properties to make waqf for Zakat House and waqf for World Humanitarian Action Forum.
Before you go, we do have one last track. But before we go to the music, I want to take it back to Islamic Relief because, after all, Islamic Relief is marking 40 years. And normally, my question would be something along the lines of, what about the next 40 years? But I remember right at the start of our interview that you said about not looking at how big you can get and all of that. So I'm going to scratch that question, forget that question. And instead, I'm going to kind of take what I've got from everything that you've said. And from the whole hour or so that we've been talking, the one thing that you keep coming back to and that I've noticed from beginning to now, and I think this is possibly the secret of the 40 years, is that of your emphasis on the youth and
That's
your
right.
emphasis on tomorrow and legacy and, we're going to be gone, but who's going to be next?
Yeah.
So tell me your final little message or whatever in terms of the youth of tomorrow.
My dream is to have a platform to create young leadership, to be having the fund or the facilities to enable them to become real leaders. My dream is to discover the talent at every individual, young individual, male and female. They are all talented, and they were the people who made Islamic Relief what it is nowadays. Don't look down at them because they are very resourceful, but they live in different ages, different era of technology. I used to leg it. Now they used to touch it or to app it. App it and leg it.
Yeah.
I used to walk as Grace, what's his name, the singer? Whatever it is. and singing whatever it is.
Singing in the Rain,
Yeah,
which is your third song choice.
yeah. And we used to leg it. We used to bus it. We used to coach it. Now they are sitting at home. So use the technology that the youth are very, very good and you are in using it, and give them the experience, give them the history, give them the philosophy of thinking, give them your culture, give them everything that you have to let them to stand on a very solid platform. Otherwise, we'll be in front of the community as criminals because we're only looking at our fame, our ego. No. People look at their ego and their fame will never become leaders. They'll be forgotten. But people will look at what next to be done with the young people and what next to be seen for the future generation are the people who will be leaving legacies behind.
Beautiful. Finally, why Grace Kelly? Why Gene Kelly? Sorry, and Singing in the Rain.
Because I was one day in
You
Blackburn.
arrived from Egypt and you got here and it was raining.
I was going to Blackburn. I was in Glasgow working as a doctor and came to see the sun shining in Blackburn. I found it raining. So I went to the bathroom and I have an umbrella and I sang the song.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Absolute pleasure. The wonderful Dr. Hani Albana, the co-founder of Islamic Relief and a swathe of other organizations as well. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.